Hi, Victor.
Hi, Santa. How are you?
I'm very well. Allow me to be in your space for the purpose of Quick Quizzes Wednesday.
Definitely. Sure.
So, my first question. What's the most creative marketing campaign you've ever worked on at Madavi Agency?
While working at Madavi, I think there was a campaign probably at the first year of Madavi where we worked with one of the top companies in Kenya, and the goal was to try to push the product as much as possible. And I remember we did something very unique. We went around the streets giving people roses. It was around Valentine, and it was so interesting because people normally expect you to advertise and try to sell them the product, but then the purpose of this campaign was just to make people feel good. And ultimately, it even increased the sales of the product eventually. So it was really, I liked how you did the approach and how unique it was.
Super. If you could give one piece of advice to young entrepreneurs like yourself, starting in the communication industry, what would it be?
I think definitely two things come to mind. One, be consistent. I think when you're starting out in a business, the early years are always super tough because you have a lot of proving to do, both to yourself, to the people you want to work with, and all of that. So one, be very consistent, never give up. When you fall down, dust yourself and get up. And the second thing is always be updated and always try to know what's happening in the space, because communications, especially in the digital space, is happening so frequently and so fast. You always have to be at span with the full knowledge of what's happening.
Amazing. We all know the passion you have for poetry. So how does the passion for poetry and art influence your work in the marketing and communications sector?
Nice. I think art as a form is just to express yourself, and some people do it through poetry, some people do it through painting, which I happen to love both. The reason why I love art, poetry and all of this, especially the early on painters, if you look at the likes of Caravaggio, Van Gogh and all of that, it's like people who are doing amazing things 300, 400, 500 years ago, and even up to date, you still find, like, you look at a painting and every time you look at it, it seems as if it's new. And what that really makes me think is, like, there's so many ways and so many perspectives that people can have. There's no one right approach to do one thing. And also how do I apply that to work is I always think of it like, even if we come up with a strategy for a client, it doesn't mean our strategy is the only way. It means it's only one of the ways we can help you get there, but you can be able to exploit more than one approach to doing something.
That's wonderfully explained. What's the biggest lesson you've learned while setting up Madavi Agency in Rwanda as a Kenyan?
I think one of the biggest lessons is you have to be very hyper aware of the culture of the people, or even if you're going to a new place. By nature, Kenyans, we are known to be very aggressive and very loud. In Rwanda, it's a very calm, collected society. So what it really made me think of is, like, whenever you go to a new place, even before you start trying to impose yourself on or impose what you want to do, first really try to understand the culture and the people, and then I'll try to find a balance on how you can do that based on that. So I think, first really try to understand the people and the culture in any new space you're going to.
In one word, what's the future of marketing?
Exponential growth. What I mean by that is there's so much happening, and even myself, I'm still very young in the game, or like to think so. I have been in the marketing space for like 6-7 years now. But within those 6-7 years, there's been so much changes that have happened, and you always have to be on our toes, getting to learn new things. Probably the next big things, looking at what we're having now, things like AI, generative AI and all of that, it's now where we are headed to. But then, as a person who is in marketing, or a person who's thinking of getting into marketing, I think the biggest skill you can have right now is the skill of learning. So have the technical skill, but then always be adaptable and learning on everything that's happening.
It's a very enlightening segment, Victor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Santa.